Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the celebrations of the International Literacy Day, the headquarters of UNFD. For the international scene, Russia encouraging preliminary results for the Russian vaccines. Welcome to our newsroom. International Literacy Day was celebrated this morning at the National Union of Djiboutian Women in collaboration with the Minister of National Education, Vocational Training, the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, the Minister of Women and Family. A colorful day with folk and dance, traditional dances. The day began with the projections of the annual assessment of the achievement of the fight against illiteracy in our country. Literacy, an essential vector of access to reading, writing, and arithmetic, and a concept through which the government wishes to make access to culture possible for the greatest number of people. It is a national priority for the government. The ceremony was presided over by the Vice President of the UNFD, Ms. Hasna Ahmed Bilil, and was attended by the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahamoud, the Minister of Women and Family, Mumina Ahmed Hassan. The Vice President of UNFD, Hasna Ahmed Bilil, who recalled how the health crisis due to COVID-19 has undermined the teaching and learnings of literacy. More detail in this report.
Cérémonie qui nous réunit aujourd'hui.
The ceremony that brings us together today is a moment of sharing and conviviality, but also of reflection, analysis of the situation and decision-making in the fight we are waging against ignorance. If it is proven that our fight is just, it is no less so. The latter is also struggling with major obstacles that some of us are in danger of giving up. The very worrying health situation that we have gone through has certainly partly affected the course of our actions, but our commitment to reduction illiteracy will continue. In this respect, we have contributed to the drafting of a proposal for a national functional literacy strategy with the Ministry of Women and the Family. The latter has now joined our two former partners, but the effort is massive, and we are going to, on the arrival of NFF, to be able to broaden our target group by taking in a new audience, in this case out-of-school teenage girls, with the aim of better preparing them for integration into professional life. An equally important aspect of women's empowerment and the empowerment of female learners will also be integrated during the course of this program. This will concern family planning, reproductive health, women's rights, entrepreneurship development, and literacy for our fellow citizens. The 61 centers made available by MENFOP will therefore be optimized.
For his part, the Minister of National Education, Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahamoud, highlighted the importance of literacy for the government, which sees its decisive factors in the democratization of culture and a tool for the promotion of the population, but also for social integration. Listen for more detail.
Literacy is a factor of integration and social cohesion. With nearly 3,000 books provided last year, the unfailing support of the technical services, the involvement of departments in the success of these projects is now on our roadmap. The schools as well as the management staff have mobilized restaurants available to learners and newcomers. Rest assured, Madam Vice President, Madam Secretary General of the UNFD, we will increase the number according to your needs. The mobilization of the state will therefore find a very concerted illustration in the success of this program, and its contribution will in no way be called into question. Rest assured, and for once, Madam Vice President, that my colleagues, Mrs. Momina and of course Mrs. Muna, and myself will continue to accompany you in these projects of national interest. Moreover, we must not lose sight of the fact that the fight for access to reading for all is not yet over. Of course, for people with reduced mobility, many people are still deprived of the pleasure of reading, and so I am joining with one of them in the respect to explore the possibilities available to us in caring for illiterate and disabled people as well. UNFD is an NGO that helps a lot in favor of culture in all its forms. The unproven success since 1977 of the fight against literacy illustrates these ambitions to promote access to knowledge and raise awareness among people of all ages. The results that have just been presented to us remind us of the extent to which our vigilance must be alerted. The proposals put forward by the Alpha team concerning the use of other forms of dissemination of reading, writing, and counting knowledge will of course be explored and carried out in the best possible conditions. Finally, I agree the organizers of this day, headed by Mrs. Hasna, Vice President of UNFD. The celebration of this day is a tradition for all of us and therefore an opportunity to commit ourselves more firmly to the objectives of eradicating illiteracy in our country.
The Minister of Women and Family, Ms. Moumina Ahmed Hassan, for her part, indicate that government action is based in the literacy. Listen to this report.
D'alphabétisation est un programme national.
Literacy program in a national program that is in line with the vision of the head of state, who always has in mind to say think about people for various reasons, has been excluded from the program. Our system existing in the Republic of Djibouti, it wishes to give all people, men, women, young and old, the chance to access education and instruction. This program has existed for a number of years, but in the last 4 years, the effort has been doubled, because there are still 3 ministerial departments that are mobilized to achieve an objective, to ensure that in the short and medium term, illiteracy disappears from the landscape. Negotiated the best placed institutions in the Republic of Djibouti, as you all know, which has contributed to social cohesion, to the well-being of the family, to the development whole, to the economic empowerment of women, and of course, to the association UNG, the National Union of Djiboutian Women, which is a co-liner long before independence. And it is on these words of society I would like to address the people we are targeting through this program. Women, men, young people who have not had the chance and opportunity to go to school to learn to read. Today, I would ask you to seize this opportunity that the government is giving you to be able to go out, to be able to write and read. This reading and writing will enable you to acquire economic empowerment, and this economic empowerment will enable you to contribute fully to the development of your own country.
Here are some of the reactions gathered by our team on International Literacy Day, which was celebrated this morning at the National Union of Djiboutian Women. Listen, please.
Journée étant une journée internationale.
This is an international day. It aims to conscientize and show the world that Djibouti is no longer where it was as far as literacy is concerned. We are in the process of coming out of the darkness into the light. So basically, I was going to say that this is a very important day in our country. As a teacher, I was going to say that I have not encountered many difficulties. But on the contrary, I have gained a lot of knowledge and experience during the last 2 seasons. It was rich. I was going to say personally that when you are an adult person, it is much better than when you're a child, a teenager. Because adult people are above all responsible people. I'm rarely going to say the departure, but often of mothers and young people. So they are people who are already responsible. There is no shouting in the classroom, but we are rather in a flat, calm, and the class is clear.
The World Food Programme logistic base located at Pika 20 yesterday hosted a ceremony for the handed over of 2 ambulances and nearly 600 boxes of medicine offered by the UNHCR to the public authorities in the framework of fight against COVID-19. The Ministers of Interior and Health, namely Moumina Ahmed Sheikh and Mohamed Warsama Diriye, as well as the UNHCR representatives in Djibouti, Yahundam Kul Sakor, sponsored this important ceremony. This donation is part of the overall framework of action in favor of refugees, and in particular the inclusion of refugees in the national health programs and the response to COVID-19 in Djibouti. Occasion for UNHCR representative Yohandam Kul Sakor to highlight the remarkable effort of the government in the fight against the pandemic. He recalled how much his team have worked hand in hand to implement the national responses plan against COVID-19. This plan that takes into account refugees because it is a commitment that the state of Djibouti has made since the New York declarations. He paid tribute to the public authorities who have offered health care to all refugees suffering from disease on the same basis as nationals in the refugee villages of Ali Sabih, Holhol, and Markazi, or even in the capital. The president of the Somali region of Galmudug, Mr. Ahmed Abdi Khariye, left the country yesterday after a working visit to Djibouti. He was accompanied to the airport by the Interior Minister Moumina Ahmed Sheikh, the Minister of Equipment Transport Musa Mohammed Ahmed, and Djibouti's ambassador to Somalia, Aden Hassan Aden. During his stay, Mr. Zakaria has met with the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, where discussions have focused on the latest development in Somalia and Galmudug region. The Port and Free Zone Authority welcomed the delegations of Turkish investors this morning. These delegations was composed of Mr. Salim Mertin, Managing Directors of Corby Steel and Metallurgy Company, Fikret Kamet, CEO of the BED Sleep Product, and Mr. Suleiman Turgut, Foreign Trade Directors of the BED Sleep Product. Members of the delegations attended yesterday's presentations on the Guichet Unique and the new Djibouti International Free Zone, followed by Q&A, where they also visit the hangars. This morning they visit the new Djibouti Damerjog Development Park project before following a presentation on site. Sleep Product is one of the world's leading suppliers of online mattresses beds with a spring base. Moving into the DIFTZ will enable this company to manufacture the products in Djibouti. This product can be transported to the neighboring countries and around the world with the brand Made in Djibouti, produced in Djibouti. These two companies are expected to create hundreds of jobs. Note that this delegation was led by our ambassador in Ankara, His Excellency Mr. Adan Hussein. Within the framework of the project to strengthen the operational capacity of the Coast Guard, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, commanders of the Coast Guard, held a working meeting on Mondays in video conference with the Director of Infrastructure and the Management Department of JICA, Mr. Atsushi Makagawa, and Mr. Toru Tugawa, the resident representative of JICA offices in the Republic of Djibouti, in the presence of the representative of fisheries engineering companies in charge of carrying out the preparatory studies of the project, and the joint committee of the Coast Guard and JICA. The holdings of this virtual meeting was an opportunity to get together to discuss existential issues related to the implementation of the preparatory studies for the acquisitions of the two 25-meter patrol vessels and floating pontoon in the framework of a grant. JICA praised the considerable efforts and professional collaborations of the Djibouti Coast Guard, which spared no effort to actively participate in the realizations of this project. In his introductions to the video conference meeting with JICA representatives and the fisheries engineering Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, commanders of the Coast Guard, stressed that the acquisitions of this equipment will strengthen its maritime security and safety missions in Djibouti. Listen to the commander.
C'est un grand plaisir et un immense honneur pour moi.
It is a great pleasure and an immense honor for me who today delivered the opening words of this video conference on the first military survey of the project, strengthening operational capacity of the Djiboutian Coast Guard. To ensure the maritime domain, the holding of this virtual meeting is the current context of the pandemic, and its circulation is still active worldwide, shows the will and strong determination of the two coasts of Djibouti and Japan. The Djiboutian Coast Guard has been very much involved in the preparatory stage and, as has always been the case, has multiplied its efforts to accompany the evolution of the activities of the preparatory studies to lead to the concertization of the project to acquire two fast and 35-meter patrol boats and floating pontoons as part of the non-refundable. We should take this opportunity to renew our gratitude to the people and government of Japan, brother and friend, for their constant support, their unshakable faith in our country, and especially in the Djiboutian Coast Guard. We also wish to pay tribute to the professional work of JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency, which works body and soul to ensure coordination and collaboration with us for the guaranteed success of its projects.
the vaccine being developed for the international scene. The vaccine being developed by the Russian government and the Gamaleya Research Institute triggers an immune response and has not led to any serious adverse effects. Listen to Dinusa.
Being developed by the Russian government and the Gamaleya Research Institute triggers an immune response and has not led to any serious adverse effects, concludes the article published by the prestigious British journal The Lancet after evaluation by a committee of independent scientists. These results do not yet prove that the vaccine effectively protects against infection by the new coronavirus, something that larger studies will have to show. Experts point out, however. On 11 August, the Russian authorities announced that Sputnik V had entered the third and final phase of clinical trials, but without making public the results of the trials already conducted. They also stated their intention to approve it in September without waiting for the results of this third phase of trials, and then to start vaccination campaigns in January.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.